Guys, it happened. Hi friends, I hope you're having an inspiring day. I am so excited to unbox what is behind me today because it has been on my wish list for a very long time. No spoiler alerts, although I guess spoiler alert in the title itself, but let's get into it. Let's start off with Hermès as a brand. As always, you know that I am a big fan of the brand. It is probably my favorite luxury house at the moment, and for me, the history of a brand is really important with regards to why I decide to invest in something or purchase something for myself, or, you know, just really spoil myself with something. For me, it's about purchasing the story and the history that goes along with the piece, just as much as the piece itself. So Hermès as a brand was founded in 1837, so it's a really old heritage brand. Something I find really interesting about Hermès in comparison to the rest of the designer houses, the LVMH brands, for example, is that it is still privately family owned, which I think is so incredible considering our day and age that we live in today. Hermès started as a horse brand, right? So they did saddles and bridles and things like that for groomsmen, or grooms? I think they just called them grooms. But Hermès was founded in France. It is still proudly made in France, their pieces today. But I think more notably, most people recognize that Hermès carries this odd, bittersweet love-hate relationship with most people if you know the brand and or follow it. And it's mostly because it is very difficult to get pieces, and more specifically, very difficult to get bags, especially depending on where you are in the world. I always have people who come at me who are like, you're saying the name wrong. It is a French brand, et je parle français, et donc voilà, c'est Hermès, pas Hermès or Hermes or Hermes. I mean, I think you can say it however you want to and however feels comfortable to you, but I will continue in the video saying Hermès because it is a French brand, and voilà, that's how you say it in French. In any of my unboxings and reviews, I always kind of talk about what each bag kind of means to me. For me personally, I look at my bags as a piece of art that I collect. And so they just happen to also be great wardrobe items, but for me, they really mark milestones in my life. And one that we haven't really shared because it hasn't really solidified yet is that Dave and I have purchased a home in Europe. More on that later, and if you follow my Instagram, you'll probably have more info on that already. But this is really to celebrate that and to mark this really momentous moment in our lives that I feel like we've gotten to. That aside, let's talk about the purchasing experience. So I feel like this is always really important to know because there are so many mixed reviews on Hermès as a shopping experience, and I completely have seen, have listened to, and totally believe the bad experiences that have been out there, and I think it's just part and parcel of the system. Now, Hermès, regardless of the demand that exists in the market, only creates an X amount of supply, and for them, you know, they kick it up to quality control and really keeping the sanctity of their bags sanct. I don't even know if sanct is a word, but I guess like the integrity of the brand. Nevertheless, there's typically always a larger demand than there is supply anywhere in the world in any of the markets. And so naturally, there's a lot of frustration that comes, I think, both from a customer and a sales associate perspective. And at Hermès, I think the shopping experience is very much based on your relationship with your sales associate because they typically only have X amount of bags to sell, but so many people who want it. And naturally, you've got human behavior, human nature kind of thrown into the mix. It's not always consistent, which I think is the most frustrating part. You can have people on YouTube kind of saying, do this, say that, and you'll get a bag, or I just walked in and got one. And I think that lack of consistency is definitely what's the most frustrating about the brand. That being said, I think my biggest advice, and I've had the wonderful luxury of being able to work with several SAs, sales associates at Hermès, and they've all been so lovely, is to really understand that one, they're human, and two, they're kind of confined and restricted by the limitations that the brand puts on them. And I think when you kind of understand that and you recognize this is one of those brands, you can't just be like, I want it, I saved up the money, I want it tomorrow. It's not really like that. It's more so, you know, you kind of have to wait and see, and sometimes the color will come in and it might not even be the color you want, and you end up collecting this beautiful, very unique Hermès collection over time that I think is I think it's beautiful because I think nobody's collection is the same. I also think it's very nice to see that, you know, it's not completely flooded the market, and it really makes each bag feel very special to you. And it's funny because we were comparing, myself and my friends, the prices with Hermès, which by the way are not very easily found. I think it's like so hush hush. But anyhow, we've actually found that there are other brands who are now extremely much more expensive than Hermès, which is funny because I think Hermès typically had held the psychological brand of being the most expensive. And I think that the Hermès, Birkin, Kelly's, Constance's, those pillar bags definitely are much more expensive. But in comparison, this bag, for example, to a Prada bag, it really does sit very similarly, if not the Prada bag actually sits more expensive than this Hermès bag. So that being said, I kind of wanted to share my thoughts on the brand, the purchasing experience. I kind of chime in on this every single time I create a video, but I think that it's important to note, not just showing you this, because if you want this, the unfortunate thing is that I can't just give you a link and you can pick it up tomorrow. But I also want to share this really exciting moment with you because this is a bag that I have had on my wish list for almost a year now, if not more than a year. So it's really nice to welcome it into my collection. Let's start with the unboxing. So if you are unfamiliar with the Hermès purchasing experience, it comes in this beautiful orange bag, which is obviously super iconic. And very simply in the bag is your beautiful bag, beautifully wrapped in its box. So this is the box that this bag comes in. Something to note about Hermès boxes that I think is really interesting is that they don't really fold down. They are made specifically for that bag, and it fits it perfectly. They don't find the box afterwards. This box shipped with this bag from France, and I just think that is so beautiful. It really does make it feel like a piece of art. Do you know what I mean? And I think that we've gotten into an age in the luxury market where it almost just feels a little too transactional. More specifically, my love for Chanel, for example, has definitely dwindled over time. You will have seen my unboxings from years and years and years ago from some of my first designer bags being Chanel, but they have just increased their prices so much, and the experience, the shopping experience hasn't necessarily gotten better. The quality of their bags haven't necessarily gotten better. And to me, it kind of turns me off from investing my hard-earned pennies on it. I don't know, I still love the designs. There's definitely some pieces that I really love, but at this point they've almost priced me out of the market because I feel like they're really expensive for what they are. Anyhow, this is not a video about my thoughts on Chanel as a brand. I still love their pieces. I would love to pick up a new bag. I just don't know which one and what investment I want to make in that bag. But voila, here is the box for this bag. It comes beautifully wrapped in ribbon. You actually have the marking of the bag here on the side. Almost all of their bags have that in their boxes, their respective boxes. I will say storing these boxes is a little difficult, but I do recommend doing that just because Hermès bags, something that's very interesting about them, and I think the most notable, is that they hold their value. If not, the resale value is much higher than the retail price of the actual bag, which is another reason why I think they are so sought after. Anyhow, so let's begin. The ribbon is beautifully wrapped, obviously. I keep all my ribbon and everything. I think what's really interesting and nice about Hermès ribbon is that it actually stamps the year. It says Hermès 2022 on this, and so you kind of remember with each ribbon what year you purchased that bag. And I'm such a sentimental sap when it comes to that stuff, and you know, with bags especially I am that way, and so for me that just gets me every time. And here is the box without its ribbon. We are going to it just slides out so beautifully. Again, such a beautifully constructed box. It really does feel like a piece of art. This box was made for this bag. Inside of the box, I actually have this little label that typically kind of folds over the box. Like if it were to actually go into the stock room, I would assume at Hermès. This bag, my SA, when he saw it or came across it, I guess, kind of pulled it aside for me. So I was really lucky in that way. So it actually never, I don't think, actually went to the stock room. I'm not sure. These are all just assumptions. The mystery behind the doors of Hermès is truly just that, a mystery. Beautifully folded 4-way fold of the bag in its glory, in its beautiful dust bag here. Dun, 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 dun. And for the moment of truth, here is my very brand new Picotin 18. I have been waiting for this bag for so long, specifically this shape, size, and style. So the Picotin does come in a couple of different sizes. This would be the smallest size, and it is the 18. The size up from this, I believe, is the 22. I would say there's not a huge difference between the 18 and 22, but something about this bag is that it has a very thick and sturdy base, and so that is kind of where the size is denounced or decided, is based on this base here, and so naturally you're gonna have a little bit of a spillover bag on each side. But let's get into this bag. We're not quite finished with the unboxing because inside of the bag is another little surprise. It is another little dust bag, and inside of here is your key and lock. And this key and lock kind of loops around this portion of the bag. So this strap here folds in through these loops, and you kind of lock it in through there. Now, something to note is that I've seen a lot of people kind of just put the lock on but not actually loop it through the hole, which allows them to go in and out of the bag. I'm gonna put on the lock now. So you are given 2 keys to this lock. I'm not really sure, you know, when I would want to, I mean, this lock is definitely very superficial because this bag is just naturally a very wide open bag. But you've got 2 rivets at the front of the bag here, so you could loop it through one, you could loop it through both. The way I normally see people wear it is looped through both, and you just kind of click in there, and that is how the Picotin lock kind of sits on this bag. So a little bit of a history on the Picotin in general. So this bag was actually founded not too long ago. It was introduced in 2002. If you remember, I actually have one of Hermès's oldest designs, which is the Hermès Bolide in the 27, and that compared to this one is obviously a much older style and silhouette. What's very cute about this, and sort of what I mentioned in the beginning, because Hermès is a horse brand, this bag was made and designed to pay homage to the horse's nose bag. So those would be carrying its feed. It's when the caretakers of the horses would, you know, carry food in here for the horse. And I just thought that was so sweet, and that's kind of why it was designed and how it was designed, the inspiration behind it. And I just think that, especially where I am in my life right now, that was just so symbolic of, you know, getting something that would feed myself. And I feel like I have fed myself for so long, and not to say I'm a horse or anything, but anyhow, I won't get into the symbolism of it all. You could draw your own conclusions, but for me, it felt very symbolic, and it just happened to be at the perfect time. And as I mentioned, I did want this bag for so long. But let's get into the components of this bag. So you know the inspiration behind it. Otherwise, this bag in general is kind of like a tote, especially in its larger sizes. It would be considered a very classic tote style bag. The leather on this is very soft leather. It was always designed in mind to have a very raw edge. There's no lining inside of the bag. As you can see here, it is almost like a rough suede on the interior, and this is definitely a more soft, moldable leather in comparison to the other leathers that Hermès has and carries. There's always going to be white stitching on this, and it's always made in this type of leather, so you're not going to see it in that smoother, shinier leather that Hermès also creates. You're also going to see it with a few different styles of hardware, so there is some gold hardware, but I've found personally that a lot of the Picotins typically have started to come out more with the palladium hardware than anything. But in terms of the practicality of this bag, I kind of mentioned to you before, but if you have the lock function kind of working there, it does draw a line through your bag. So just something to note. I mean, it is basically a bag with just a giant gaping hole. It is supposed to be like a tote, but just a very mini tote. And so you're going to want to think about that when you're, you know, deciding on whether you're going to bring this traveling or not. My thoughts on bags like this is that I always kind of keep like a little dust bag inside so I can drawstring it and be able to keep the interior of the bag kind of pristine, but also to keep my valuables all together and a little bit more secure. But this bag is obviously a arm bag, so either a hand bag like this or just on your arm. Does not go up to your shoulders at all, so not a tote in that sense, but it is super cute in this size. I think that this is a great everyday casual bag. Definitely looks very casual, very effortless, which I think in general is what I love about Hermès, other than the lock or the inscription on the inside of the bag. So I'll pull it in closer for you to see. If you see, so there's a little inscription of Hermès at the bottom base of the bag. This is really the only description of Hermès on the bag that you will find. Other than that, another key component that I love about this bag is that it's actually got feet. So for a bag that's this type of style, to have feet like this to protect the sort of bottom base of the bag, I think is really important. So I'm really glad that they have that on here. In terms of pricing, this bag was $3,100 Canadian. So again, like I said, very comparable to some Prada bags out there, but it is, regardless of price, a bag that I think I will get a lot of wear out of. I think it is a beautiful shape. I love the way it kind of highlights the beauty of the leather, which is what Hermès is known for and so famous for, is the quality and beauty of their leather. I would say, as I showed you on the inside, it is not lined. It is just raw leather. So in terms of a review, you're going to be able to fit pretty much everything you want in there, but it is not going to be completely secured. So you want to consider that, whether it's a bag shaper or a little dust bag inside. In terms of the general shape of the bag, you see a lot of people carrying it like this, which makes it a little bit of a different shape. Or you can pull the sides out and it kind of creates a little bit of like a more angular look to the bag. In terms of the color, this is called a taupe. This color, the Picotin, does come in various different colors. They label it under a Taurillon Clémence as well. But that is pretty much it on my Picotin 18. I am so excited to be welcoming her into the family. I hope you guys liked this little unboxing, a quick style review. I did a little bit more of an in-depth review on all of my Hermès bags in my collection, as well as the other bags I own. I've done unboxings and reviews on those as well, so if you're interested, definitely check those out. But friends, I am so excited to celebrate this with you. Not just the bag itself, just where I am in life. I just feel very grateful for everything that's kind of happening and going on, and I know like this kind of showing up on my wish list, you know, is certainly superficial, but I just feel like it's really symbolic of the manifestation of the good things that I've hoped so long for and wished for in my life coming to reality. So I just want to thank you so much for being here and being a part of this journey. I feel like anytime I do a bag unboxing, because it's such a big purchase, it naturally just makes me really reflective. I don't make these purchases lightly. But with that, friends, thank you so much for being here. I hope you liked the video. If you did, a reminder to give it a big inspired thumbs up so I know, and comment below. Let me know if you have ever heard of this bag, the Picotin 18, or if you've had it on your radar, or what your favorite Hermès bags are in general. I would love to know. And if you're new to the Inspired family, we would love it if you join us and subscribed. But with that, friends, I'm going to take her out for her very first spin. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have an inspiring rest of your day. Remember that kindness doesn't cost a thing, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!